Nothing's overnight. Some days you lose, some days you survive. Still strong, even moving slow. Every step counts more than you know. I found gold in the everyday, and showing up and staying brave. Still strong, yeah.
Welcome back to the Still Strong Podcast, Part 2 with Justin Allen. All right, brother, we're back.
Yep.
Now that you're done telling me, how you practice speaking in tongues. Nah, just kidding. You got to give it some levity. This has been a heavy one, so I just had to laugh for a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine living it.
I can't. And I'm glad you can talk about it.
Yeah, it has to be talked about because there's more people out there that are living that lifestyle that don't realize that there's people like you that are ready to like rip their heads off because they're messing up their daughters and their granddaughters and other things.
Yeah, but it sounds like, when you believe your own lies, when you believe your own manipulation, when you can't see it, and then it finally comes to a point in your life where you can look back and you can see all that stuff, and then to be able to talk about it as openly as you are, to be able to connect those dots, it might help someone else, trigger something in someone else's mind, be like, I can identify that, I can identify with that, I can identify with that, I can identify with that, and be like, oh, 3 or 4 hops, bro. 3 or 4 hops. Oh, we can say that's me. You know what they say? Show me your 3 best friends, and I'll tell you everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what this is.
Right.
When you can see a progression, if this is progressing a certain way, and I can identify with that, well, then that's you.
Mm-hmm.
But we think, oh, that's not me. I'm not that bad. We have that voice in our head that we fight with. Or maybe we listen to too much, right? And we believe our own lies. So anyway, let's get it.
So another thing that I don't think I really touched on was at the end of all these relationships that you and I previously talked about was there was always I was always getting the same ending. And all these females would tell me like, you need to like work on yourself. You need to stay single. You don't need to, because I was jumping from these relationships from one to the other. I saw it growing up, like with my mom. Like she would jump from one relationship to the next and it was normalcy. She was getting married to every one of them. I wasn't, but doesn't make it any different. I was still moving in with them. I was still doing all these relationships that were going nowhere.
There's a dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dynamic where we learn behavior from people, but that doesn't negate our own responsibility.
Correct.
You can't blame your mom.
No.
You learn from your mom and she has a play in it, but you have responsibility for yourself as well. And where those two wheels come together, I don't understand all that. But this whole thing, well, we give ourselves a pass too soon because my dad made me this way or this or that. No. You had a play in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got personal responsibility as well. And everybody's a teacher, positively or negatively. I learned from my parents what they did well, and I try to do the best I can what I learned from them. But the things that they didn't do good, the things that they could have done better, I can learn from those too.
Mm-hmm.
And it all has teaching moments. Not to be stuck in the cycle, well, I'm the way I am because of how I was raised. No, that stuff that you learned positively and negatively, use it to make you a better person, to make you what you're supposed to be, and to get stuck in that cycle of that we've been talking about, because it can continue. Your daughter and son can say the same thing about you.
Oh yeah,
and that just perpetuates. Well, if nobody's responsible for their own actions, if it's everybody's fault, then what's the point, right? So I think we're gonna get there.
Yep. So this is the part around 34 now. I'm jobless, pretty much homeless because I live with my mom. I start working for, I got this where I got to redo my grandma's house. So my uncle made a deal with me that he'll pay me X amount of dollars a week to clean out my grandma's house, get it ready to sell it.
Because she had died.
Because she had passed away. Yeah.
Got it.
And so I'm like, that's fine. That's cool. Like, then here it is. It makes my, they didn't see it as a big thing. I looked at it as like, oh, this is awesome. I'll be able to drink beer and clean out this house with no supervision. I'm an adult. I shouldn't need supervision. But so then I have a buddy of mine that lives in the Cape.
Listen, I was getting ready to give you some props again. I was getting ready to say, I'm glad you weren't too good to clean out your grandma's house and take on that job, because some people would say, after being a business owner, some people will say, have a mindset, well, I'm too good for that. No, I've graduated from that. But you did it. So I was getting ready to give you some more props, but you just keep blowing it.
That's because it's not worth it. I mean,
so you took the job so that you can just be free again.
Right. Because now
and to be able to make some money.
And I'm able to make some money, but now I'm going to start drinking again, like on my own, to where I would stop on my way to the Cape and I'd get like an 18 pack of Busch Light. And I'd sit there, drop the kids off at school if I had them or if I didn't have them. And I'd sit out there and drink and clean. I'd work. I'd get it. I'd made progress, cleaned it out, had a big dumpster out front and was cleaning stuff out. But I was drinking at the same time. So then it became...
I'm going to ask you a question. At this point when you're drinking, before I asked you, you said you were escaping responsibility.
Now I'm suppressing depression.
No, okay, so it's a different dynamic. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm tracking with you.
Because so I hated my life now.
You lost everything. Here you're so close, you had it. You thought you had it made. Now you lost it all. So now you're depressed. And you're, would you say escaping depression? Or would you,
escaping depression.
You're trying to numb the depression. Yep. And how do you do that when that's an emotion inside you? That's not an external thing.
No.
So how do you try to numb something that's internal that you can never get away from?
Because your mindset gets, you get drunk, you get buzzed, and your mind doesn't wander and think as much about every detail when you're drunk. So as you're drinking, like stone cold sober, like first thing in the morning or whatever, your mind's racing, or when you're trying to go to sleep sober, your mind's racing, thinking about stuff of what you've done and like that. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to get you're going to be restless. You're not going to be able to fall asleep. You're going to stress. You're going to get depressed. You're going to think about it. And you get that alcohol or liquor or whatever drugs in you, it goes away because you don't think about that. You're thinking about, I don't even know what you're thinking about. You're just, you're drunk. So you're thinking about what am I going to do? Not what did I do?
Understood. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I want to make sure I'm tracking with you on this next little segment.
So at this point, I still haven't I haven't talked about him in a while. Was my adopted dad. He actually had passed away around the same time. We didn't really have the greatest relationship. So, he ended up passing away from cancer. And then...
What do you mean you didn't have a good relationship? Because you told me he was your dad.
Well, he was, but then he had after the whole getting arrested thing, and then like me and his girlfriend, wife, or whatever she was at the time.
The one that first turned you on to like some Christian seeds.
Right.
Okay.
She wasn't a fan of me anymore. It became like she threw out that I was adopted and like that type of stuff. So it never came from him, but it came from her.
I don't want to have you lose your train of thought, but why did she not become a fan of yours again?
Because what I did was wrong. Break into their house and trash it and steal from them.
And she never
fully got over that.
Did you ever apologize for that?
Yeah, I did. So a couple years later.
She never accepted it?
No, a couple years later when I first had my daughter, I brought my daughter over to them. They were thrilled to meet her and spend time with her, and that went on for like a year or two. And then it got crazy. Like after I got my son's mom, trying to do Christmas at everybody's different houses. There was like 5 different houses I had to go to, and one of the days I asked if we can not do it that day and push it back a day to where it wasn't on Christmas,
You offended her.
and she lost it on me and didn't think that I was putting them first, and
Looking for a reason, probably.
right. So then we kind of like separated then, and I didn't talk to him much after that over the years, and then after they ended up splitting up, and I tried reaching out to him a few times and he never responded.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry to hear that because early on you kept saying how good he was.
And I still
you
think he was an amazing guy and all that, like that, which I have no hard feelings of how I turned out or anything like that. It has nothing to do with him or his reflection or any of that. He was a great guy.
Got it.
He tried his hardest and he gave me my last name. So,
Got it. Okay.
but then, so I'm starting to drink heavier now, being less responsible. And then finally, like the house is coming to an end to where it's getting ready to get put up for sale. So I start applying for jobs because I need a job. I need to start making money. And the only thing I know is low voltage stuff, and I know guns. Well, guns didn't work out. They left a bad taste in my mouth because of my irresponsibility. So I was able to get a job with a low voltage company. I started at the bottom. I told them when they interviewed me, I said, I want to start at the bottom, like, and work my way up. Like, I don't want anybody to ever say that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was.
That's interesting that you'd even say that
And
because most people talk about how much experience they have, how much they know, and they want to go for the top. It's
It was
really interesting that you would say that.
It was low voltage, but it was a different style of low voltage. What I was used to.
It's just interesting that you would say that. I want to start at the bottom.
So I started as a technician at $15 an hour in my 30s, but within a very short time, I worked my way up. And it was more so to like, I guess, to prove to myself that I was gonna do good. And I was the first person in that company to ever move up as quickly because I did have years of experience in the low voltage field.
Yeah, I know. It was just interesting that you would point that out and that you would say that when you needed to make money.
I guess it was a quick, easy way to get the job guaranteed, which I probably had it anyways in the bag, but I knew for a fact I was going to get it. So I ended up being with that company for about 5 years. I worked my way all the way up from a technician to a project manager level. And then during that time, I had drank more and more. My daughter started getting older. She was 15 at this time. And
hey, listen. When a girl's 15, she needs you 100%.
When a
girl's 15, she needs you with all your senses sharp.
And I did the opposite. So
because she's going through stuff too. At 15, girls are going through stuff, brother. And
she had me from full time from the time she was 2 till she was 15. She started arguing with me more, and her mom was playing a big role into it of wanting her more and more. And so I told her, I said, I'll make you a deal. I said, you can go live with your mom for a year. And the way that I was looking at it, I was going to be able to, I had this new job now. I'll be able to focus more. I'll be able to take this serious and focus on that. And I said, but there's going to be stipulations about you living with your mom. I said, you have to get good grades when you're there.
You have no right to be giving anybody stipulations.
Right. I know. Trust me. But I was the manipulator. And so I let her go live with her mom when she was 15 years old, 14, right before she was 15. And she started high school because she was going to start high school over there. And so then that gave me a lot more free time. And so I started drinking more. I still had my son. My ex-wife, she was in law enforcement. So me and her got along.
Sounds like you've always been able to get along with people.
Yeah. I never had really an issue up until this next one that where I don't get along with at all or talk to. And it's not because of her decision, it's my decisions. And so me and her, the next one that I started dating, she had her own house. She had 2 kids. Great job. She actually had 2 jobs. She was a go-getter. Her mom was a great person. Her dad wasn't a part of her life. But me and her mom got along very well. Me and her got along very well in the beginning. The manipulation stage, I was able to, but there wasn't really a whole lot of a manipulation. It was more with this one. It was me and her drank a lot. Like it was more of a partying because we ended up having our kids on the same schedule. So when we had our kids, we were family oriented. When we didn't, we were out on boats. We were at the bars. We were doing whatever, going on cruises, going here, going there, because I was making my own money. I was living with her. I was doing all these things. And, so it's kind of like it was balanced. We had our family when we had them, but I wasn't still 100% there. I was still like when we didn't have them, we were going out and drinking, and when drinking came, so did the arguing and the fighting.
Let me ask you another question. Raising kids is hard.
100%, especially when you're not a full-time parent like I wasn't.
So, looking back during this time, how effective were you raising them? Were you even raising them?
I wasn't raising them.
Was it all
I
the
was
show? Was it all surface show?
It was
BS.
It was being present physically when I had them and buying them what they wanted so they felt loved, but I never gave them that genuine love of a father that should be given his kids.
And how much like really solid advice, or like, I'll just use the word advice, can you give to someone when you're not in a stable spot yourself?
Exactly. I shouldn't have been given anybody.
Are you just making it up?
Pretty much. I'm just on the.
Are you just saying what you're supposed to say? Like
what I think I should say, what a parent should say, what I think, how parents, in my mind, how a parent should be, because I can sit here and say, well, I was a parent at a young age. So are you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're completely different. But so that's not an excuse, or people from the outside looking in and be like, oh no, Justin's always been a great dad. No, I let you see that I was a great dad.
The reason why I'm asking is because I can't pretend. So there's been times in my life that I've been battling my own demons. And I've still got to be a dad. I still got to be a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been times that I know my kid's going through something and I know what I'm supposed to say, but I'm not doing it myself. So I can't say it. I can't say it because I'm not doing it. And I'm not going to pretend.
But you have that guilty intuition. I didn't.
So luckily there was other people in our circle that I would hope would pick up on that, because I can't speak to them because of what I'm I'm not in a good spot right now.
Right.
Pastors, Sunday school teachers, my wife. My wife's always been solid. Man, thank God for my wife. My wife's always been able to speak to my kids.
She's awesome.
But I was just curious, because you're battling these demons and you're still having to raise kids. So I was just wondering how you doing it, because I can't. I wouldn't be able to tell my kids anything. I would say, hey, don't be doing what I'm doing. That's all I can tell you. Don't do what I do. Whatever I'm doing, do the opposite.
I had no real self-awareness. I didn't take accountability for a lot of things. I let a lot of things just kind of like roll off, looked at the consequences as they came through.
Understood.
And either dealt with them or brushed them off. I didn't really
Understood.
take accountability. I didn't take what I was doing as serious as I should have. And I never really let anything bother me too much. But at the same time, I was going through a deep cycle of depression that was building that I didn't know was coming.
I understand. Again, like I said, I'm trying to see what your shoes feel like, and I'm digesting this. So
I'm hurting all these people, and me not realizing it fully. I'm thinking everything's great. These people are hurt all from the last 10, 15 years, time and time again, same cycle over and over. And I'm thinking, oh, let's just brush it off and move forward, and like it'll go away or it'll stop, and not realizing what kind of issues I'm creating for myself in the future.
in your mind, we're just going to Disney World for a weekend, and when we get back, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you're a kid.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it when we get home. Right now, we're going to play with Mickey Mouse.
Or if I get the next girl and it don't work out, there's another one that's next in line that's going to make it fine for a little bit. That'll be okay. So this next one I dated for about 2.5, 3 years. This was the longest one besides my marriage that I actually dated. And we had a lot of ups and downs. We had a few where we were going to break up, then we didn't break up, and then we were gonna, then we didn't. And then probably the last year of it should have been ended prior to that year. But it was me manipulating, me lying, me doing this, doing that to keep her to where she was tolerating me. But it was horrible. It was a horrible relationship. We actually argued in front of the kids a few times. And then it got to the point to where me and her just obviously weren't going to work. So we parted our ways, and I ended up moving in with a buddy of mine instead of going back home.
I got to ask you another question. Your alcohol was an escape from responsibility. Then it was an escape from depression. All these relationships with these women, what are you running from? What are you running to? Like, because I see a different type of addiction here. I see a different cycle with relationships. Have you thought about this?
I'm trying to...
You're trying to fill a void?
Fill a void of my own. It's almost like I'm being greedy for myself, and I'm not trying to produce any kind of positive to somebody that I'm supposed to be sharing my life with. I'm trying to make it to where, how is it going to benefit me? How is it going to do this? And when something doesn't benefit me anymore, then I get angry and I get upset, and then I'll fight back with it, and then that's where usually arguments start. Or I'm taking from this person, or I'm taking from this person, and it's like I'm not returning the take that I'm giving. I'm not giving them back what they deserve.
A verse came to my mind. So you are trying to fill a void. You got a hole somewhere, and you're trying to fill it with these relationships for you. It's all about you. Husbands, love your wives. Even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. That's the answer. To give with no expectation of any return.
Right.
That's the remedy, but that remedy is only through Christ, which we're going to get there. Selfless service, selfless love, unconditional love, not with what I get back, but I'm going to love you because I love you, because Christ loved me, and I'm going to love you the way he loved me the best I can. I'm going to serve you, not expecting anything back.
And I can honestly say, and as crappy as this is going to sound, I've told every one of those females that I loved them, and I didn't. I told them what they wanted to hear, and it never stopped. And as bad as it is, and there's people that deal with that daily, and they're living in a life like that where they feel that they're being told that they're loved, but they're not loved. They know they're not loved. They can feel they're not loved, but they're being told one thing, and they get told enough, they start believing it a little bit, but they don't feel it. And coming, you'll see that how that changes.
And that there's another verse that talks about that, about a man's words and a man's actions. Don't talk about it.
Right.
Show me. I hear you. I hear you say you love me. Back it up. Show me. Where do you love me? My almost used to be my almost son-in-law. Every time she got fed up, I love you, and like this whole thing. Show me. Show me. I mean, show me.
Can't show you.
Can't. So anyway.
Because he don't love himself, and he's not going to love anything else.
Wow.
Well, he might love himself too.
No point. Maybe he can only love himself.
Right. So at this point, this is where my mom and stepdad had closed their shop down.
Oh, okay.
On their own. They're at the point where they wanted to retire.
Wow, good for them.
And they wanted to move. Culture shock for me.
Oh, wow.
They went. They bought property in Tennessee, and so it wasn't just right up the road. And this was going to be the first time that my mom moved away from me. And at the same time, this is when me and my ex were splitting up. So I couldn't run back to mom's house. So I moved in with a buddy of mine. And this was probably, I didn't have my daughter. She was still living over at her mom's. We'd bump heads here and there. I had my son. He wanted to be with me a lot more than his mom. And I did a lot of where I lived at in Alva. I was closer to a lot more of my friends that had kids. So this portion is where it gets really nasty. And so again, like this one told me the same as all the other ones, that I need to stay single, and I need to find myself, and I need to love myself and all that. So I told myself, I'm not dating anybody anymore. I'm tired of it. And this was going to be my change in life.
Did you ever think about turning gay?
No.
All right, good. I thought you were going to say, hey, it ain't working with all these women. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Definitely not.
Oh, good. That's another one I couldn't take. I'd let you say, what's that other thing I don't want to say? Me time. I'd let you say me time 10 times before I heard you say that one.
That thought's never crossed.
All right.
But
when you say it's going to take a turn, I go, oh, no, here we go.
No.
It ain't working with the women. All right.
So the buddy that I was living with, he liked to drink a lot. So me and him, like when he had a son, they were the same age as my son. We all had the same mutual friends within like a mile radius of each other. It was like 4 different houses that we'd go to. And so when we didn't have the kids, we'd go over to our friend's house. We'd all drink and have a good time, party it up. I still had my job full time. He actually worked with me I was able to get him a job at the same place that I worked at. And then a few months went on, and he met a girl, and he's like, do you want to just take over this house, and I'm going to move in with her, and we'll be able to work it out. I'm like, perfect. I'll have my own space. My mom's not here. She can't intervene with anything. This is the first time in my adulthood life that I am on my own by myself and going to start making forward progress. And so what I didn't realize is that's when depression took a little bit harder hit. Drinking took a little bit more. I became a project manager for this company. And so my stress levels went up a little bit more because everybody says, oh, I can do that job, until you got to come do that job.
Right.
People don't realize the stress that comes with it. So my son was staying with me probably about 75% of the time, because not that I was giving him more nurturing home and loving home than his mom's, but I had the fun house. I had the TVs, the Xboxes, going over to a friend's house all the time where he could play with kids his age, the fun house. And no bedtime, really. I mean, he was staying up till like 10 o'clock at night when he should have been in bed at like 8 o'clock. But we were just two dudes. He was my son and I was his dad, and we were living it up. We'd go out to eat.
Actually sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was great. We had a pool in the backyard, so he'd
Nice.
swim in it all the time. And it was good when he was there, but when he wasn't there is when it like really hit.
Mm.
I was depressed. I was sad. I was drinking a lot. There were some mornings I'd wake up and pound a couple of the Fireball shots before I'd go to work, just to get me going. And I've started hanging out with these other couple girls, and they're like, "Oh, I want to introduce you to this other person." And I'm like, "I don't really want to date anybody right now. I want to really try and fix my life. Like I gotta do better." And they're like, "Oh, just..."
You're saying you got to fix your life,
but I don't even know what I got to fix at this point.
but you just drank 2 Fireballs before you go to work.
Right.
So it's kind of like sounds contradictory.
Right. And so I'm pretty much fighting myself every single day. Like I do have the demons, but I still haven't made a huge leap in life changes yet.
You haven't really started doing any work yet. It doesn't sound like the effort. Like, I need to do something, but I haven't really heard any effort yet.
No, there's been zero. And so
like we all know we need to go to the gym, but there's a difference between knowing I need to go to the gym and getting in there and doing it. It doesn't sound like you've stepped your foot in the gym yet. And that's a scary thought, because to commit is a whole nother level of, we're not there yet. I'm just digesting this. So go ahead.
So then, like, I'm going, and my ex-mother-in-law, she goes through a divorce, and she reaches out to me. She's a mess, and she's trying to change her life. And me and her always kept a good communication with my son, and outside of my son. Like, me and her always, like, she was like a second mom to me. And my mom not being local anymore, and she invites me to the church that she goes to, and I'm like, no, that place wouldn't be able to handle me. Like, I haven't stepped foot in church in 20 years type thing. So, like, no. And I shut it down. And she asked me a few more times. I'm still heavy on hanging out with friends, drinking, taking my son to football, taking him to school, making it work, have a full-time job, working crazy hours.
Is she picking up on cracks on you? Is that why she's inviting you to church? Or do you know why she was inviting you to church?
She knew I was a mess. She knows I've been a mess.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, and she's planting a seed.
Got it.
And so then I ended up caving and talking to this one girl. And she's not like the other ones I've dated in the past physically, but she's back to my same old track record, to where she's successful. She's got a great mom, great dad, great sister. And I took advantage of her. I tried in the beginning. I did kind of like put some ground things of, I really don't want to be in a relationship. I'm really like making excuses, I guess, to myself of why I didn't want it. But then she was fun. She was fun to be around. She was fun to hang out with. She was a heavy drinker at the time I started getting heavy on the drinking. And then it came to a point to where she was either at my house or I was at her house, and that went on for a little while. And then I went right back into the same track record of, all right, well, I don't need to be here anymore. I can just move in with you, and we don't have to waste all this time driving, because she was in North Cape and I was in Alva. And I said, we can just live together and make both of our lives easier. Well, she didn't have no kids. she didn't really get along the greatest with my son. So that kind of and he always wanted to be with me.
Oh.
So that kind of took back on our
Mm.
pastime of it was just the boys at the house. It was just me and him. It was good lifestyle. It was great. And so I started seeing the change in him and I didn't like it, even though before I moved in with her, there was some times like where we had good time, me and him. So after we moved in with her, it was like a total change. He likes to play his Xbox, plays football on Xbox, likes to play football in real life, gets good grades. Like he's a good, solid kid. But in her eyes, he didn't go outside enough or he didn't do this because he was on his Xbox for an hour a night or 2 hours a night. So it kind of like caused the issue there. And then there wasn't always the best financial decisions on my end. I got into a bad habit when I was living on my own. I was buying lottery tickets, so I was gambling a lot. I was going through a lot of lottery tickets. I was buying a lot of liquor. And so I wasn't always the best at that point with my money. And moving forward, she was one that was wanting to have kids. She was wanting to get married. And I kind of like put my no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have any kids. My son at this time was 11 and I don't want, or 10. And I said, I don't want to start all over. I'm not doing that again. Like I've said in the past, like, and the marriage thing, like to me at that point, marriage was just a piece of paper. There was no reason behind it. Like we can just live together and there was no reason. So what kind of like really stuck out was there was this time, it was Christmas time, and I was dealing with my ex-wife. Me and her didn't get along at this time. She got a new boyfriend and he wasn't a fan of me. And so we had some issues where we didn't talk. We did a lot of coordination through her mom and dealing with it that way instead of us talking to each other. So there was no jealousy or no kind of confrontation that would come up from it. So we worked through her mom. Well, there was a miscommunication on Christmas that year and it caused a big issue to where she wanted him, but it was never relayed to me. And she's like, well, I told him, my son, and he just never told me because he wanted to stay with me. Well, that caused the issue with me and her mom. Me and her mom only had one fight ever, and that was this time. And so it caused the issue. So then that caused the issue between me and my girlfriend at the time. And me and her were drinking every night. Like we were going through a bottle of Tito's vodka. Like every 2 nights we were going through it, which is a lot. And still going to work, still showing up, still traveling for work at this new company that I'm at. I became a project manager there right off the get-go. I didn't try and come in low like I did last time. I knew my worth, knew my value on the work side of it. And it was one of those things to where I felt lost. I felt confused on my life choices. And it was like the first time to where in one of these relationships, I was like, I don't see it going anywhere. I'm not going to keep fighting this. I'm not going to keep pushing for a relationship. Like something just happened to where it was like, I know it's not going to work. And I know I'm going down a dead end road. And
Every other time,
I was forced out.
every other time you were forced out, they made the decision. This is the first time.
Which I knew she wanted to separate before, but then I smoothed it over. But then there was a time to where I was just like, I don't want to fight this anymore. I don't want to, I know it's not going anywhere. And it's causing, because my son's not comfortable. So that's the biggest thing right there. Like there's an issue there. So I'm for once putting him
You're thinking
first,
about him instead of you.
and I know it's not going to go anywhere. And so then it was one of those things where I was going to try and build up some money so I can go move out on my own. And
But I don't understand. You never stopped working.
because I carelessly spend.
You're blowing on lottery tickets and alcohol. Got it. Okay.
And so
Man, what a waste.
it was like the amount, if I added it up
What a
over the
waste,
years, I'd be
man.
like, it was so stupid. But addiction will get you. Like when you're not realizing you're addicted to something and you're just wasting it. It's a bad situation to be in. And so we hit Christmas. We went through Christmas and the New Year's. Did a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. But I knew it was coming to an end. And she ended up reaching out to my sister and wanting my sister's opinion on it. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was working on my way getting out of it. I was just trying to get my cards in a row before I was forced out. And
you've been down this road enough times.
I saw it on
where
the
it's
wall.
going.
Like I knew. So I would, but this time I wasn't going to fight it.
Oh, and the only thing different is Mama's not around.
Right, my mom can't save
me. Now
you
you got to figure out, man, I want to get out of here, but I gotta go. Like, I can't just run back to Mama's house. Like, so you're trying to, that's why you're saving money, because you got to figure this, like, the next stay on your own.
Right.
A buddy or a house.
And I knew I didn't want to, I could have moved in with another friend, but this time was different. I wasn't sure
You've
yet.
done that before.
Right.
Got it.
But I didn't want to do it again. And so it ended up coming a lot quicker than I thought. She reached out to my sister. My sister told her straight up, she's like, tell him to leave then, because she called my sister about getting married and having kids. And she's like, you're wasting your time with them. Don't do it. And for like a half a second, I was mad at my sister. Never been mad at her in my life. Me and her have never argued. Me and her never had. If me and her don't agree on something, we give ourselves each other a few days and then we'll circle back. But I've let my sister down a lot. I've disappointed my sister a lot. And she knows that I love her. She knows that I'll be there for her. But she knows that I also disappointed her a lot. So she was worried that I was going to get upset with her. But she opened up her house to me. She's like, you can come stay here for a couple nights just to get away. But I was already in the process of getting my own place. So I only needed like another week. But
that's awesome. Listen, I love your sister. She spoke truth. She gave tough love, but also opened the door to her house,
right,
to show you some love on the other side. That's.
And it wasn't just her decision; it was her husband's decision.
You couldn't expect any more out of her.
So me and her split up. Me and my sister had a long conversation, talking about, hey, like, mom's not here no more. She's not here to baby you. You got to get your shit together. So I was still drinking, and I was like, I have I ended up getting a cheap duplex, and it was in the shores. So not the greatest neighborhood, but it was going to be on my own. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And I was there for about, we're in 26, 25, 24. So January 24, I moved in. And the first few nights there, coming from nothing, because I always moved from house to house to house, never had anything of my own. I always
nobody ever moved in with you.
No.
You're always moving with somebody else.
Right, so I never had to have anything. I was moving into furnished houses.
Well, I think you had to bring you some clothes.
Yeah, and that's all I did until now.
And how old are you at 2 years ago?
37.
So at 37 years old, you got your own place. Nothing. And you got nothing. So what'd you do?
So my sister gave me a couch. She gave me some pots and pans and some plates and glasses. And I went out and bought a couple TVs.
I just gotta laugh. That's the typical man stuff. The priorities.
Right.
I need my TV.
And
I guess I can eat off the floor.
Right.
Dogs do it. I guess I can eat off the floor, but your sister's like, no, you need this and that.
I did get a bed from her. I had one bed, my son's bed. I had my son's room stuff. Took that everywhere I went. And so he always had a bed. They always had a dresser. And then there was probably that first month of me living on my own. I still drank a little bit um, for about 2 weeks. And then I remember my son, he was with his mom, and I'd stopped on my way home from work. I Bush Light, and I got those little bottles of Fireball, and I got super drunk that night.
Hmm. Do you remember why?
No, I think it was just so much going on. I didn't have my mom to rely on like I normally did. I moved out on my own officially, really for the first time in my life. Like, had my own, like, the lease was in my name.
Hmm.
I had to do the power, I had to do the water, I had to do everything on my own by myself for the first time in my adult life. I never had to do it before. Like, when I moved in with my buddy, like, it was already there. It was already like, it was just transferring everything over. Like, I didn't have to go look for a place. I didn't have to go start from scratch. I didn't have to fill this place up with items that I was buying, and I was just depressed. I went through all these relationships over the last 20 years, 15 years
Hmm.
of ups and downs and all this. And so I was drinking, and I remember passing out.
Hmm.
I don't remember much that night. And then I had to get up for work the next morning. Always got up for work. I was literally a functioning alcoholic. Um, and I woke up, went through my text messages after my alarm clock went off, saw that I texted somebody that I shouldn't have texted. She was married. Texted her stuff that I shouldn't have texted. And it was one of those things where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I had something tell me, like, you've got to stop this. Like, you've had your fun. Now it's time to get serious. And I didn't know what I was about to get myself into. I still didn't talk to my daughter a lot. I talked to her here and there.
So you guys are still somewhat estranged during this time.
Right. Which we started talking a little more so after me and that girl split up. And once my mom told her that I was moving on my own, like, it was like, okay, he can be my dad again.
Wow.
But let me see how he turns out first.
Wow.
And so my son, he's just to go along with, he, like, in his eyes, I wasn't any different. Like, he didn't see no difference. It was just normal.
Understood.
Life. My sister, she talked to my daughter, that I was gonna move out on my own and I was told myself and my sister and my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna be single for a while now. I don't want to do it no more. Like, I told them, I said, I'm gonna stop drinking. So January 23rd, 2024, 1/23/24 is the day I decided to stop drinking. After a week went by, I didn't realize not only how hard it was going to be to quit drinking, but the emotional side of it that comes along with it, because I don't have that numbness that I'm able just to drink to make the pain go away. So here I am, not only not drinking.
You're having physical withdrawals.
Yeah.
Plus you're having all this emotional suppression that's been suppressed for a bunch of years that now you got to deal with. So you got different dynamics going on all at the same time.
So everything that I've done for the last 20 years,
wow,
from getting arrested to the dating, to having children, the way I raised my children, to the lack of, to the drinking, to the failed relationships, to the manipulation, to the gaslighting, to the narcissism, to telling these ladies and everybody, my mom, lying to my mom, lying to my sister, lying to my kids, lying to everybody about everything, is all coming to a surface all at one time. Like, there was no, like, trickle in, little bit here and there. Oh, I remember this. No, it was like, for some reason, it was all at one time.
Wow.
And it was all spread out. Like, it was like constant. Like, so there was nights I was going to bed crying because I was so upset and so hurt myself. And I didn't know what to do, the nights that I didn't have my son, I couldn't stay at home. by myself.
Because why?
Because I was beating myself up over it, and I didn't want to fall into like a deep state of depression where I took my life, because that thought did cross my mind a few times. That it'd be easier.
I was gonna ask you, did that ever cross your mind?
It did, quite a few times. Wow. And so here you are, sober, a week into it, 2 weeks into it, dealing with this, and I'm trying to fight it on my own, and I'm struggling like no other. And I'm getting a little bit of flashback of my childhood, my teenage years from when I went to church. And so what do you do when you're always struggling, whether you know God or you don't know God? You always reach out to God and say, God, help me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, give me a sign if this is supposed to be you. When you don't know him, you call on him when you need him, not when you're thankful, when you're showing him gratitude. Or for the most people that aren't really that are like in and out of Christianity, they reach out to him when they need him.
That's why I believe in God, and that's why I believe most people believe in God. Because when tragedy hits, you don't ask Santa Claus for help.
No.
Sorry, kids. Sorry. I would rather have said the F word than that, because I know some people are not going to like me. But you don't ask things that don't exist for help.
Right.
Why do we call out for God when we're at rock bottom?
Right.
What's within us to call out to God when we're at rock bottom?
He made us, so
that tells me something that's natural.
So I started,
and that call doesn't fall on deaf ears.
No, it didn't.
It doesn't fall on deaf ears.
So here we are. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know how it went so fast. I don't know how I wasted so much time, money, and energy over these past years, but I knew it was changing. I knew I had something greater. I knew there was a greater good behind it. Wasn't 100% sure at the time.
And this is only a couple weeks into.
This is only a couple weeks into it. So I started. I was like, I hit the ground running. Like I didn't wait. Like I wanted to like start like showing some positive changes for myself, so I could look at myself in the mirror and be like, all right, you're really doing it this time. Like, so here we're a couple weeks into being sober. I tell my sister, tell my mom every few days we're in a group chat, like, haven't drank today.
You're making yourself accountable.
Right. And I downloaded this app on my phone to keep track of day-to-day sobriety. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to keep track of that, I'm going to download. I didn't have no social media for a couple of years, because if you're going to manipulate people and you're going to lie people, you can't have social media where they can call you out on it.
Oh.
So you have to disappear from that. So I didn't have it.
See, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It's funny that you know that, and
because
that
it's happened to me.
Wow.
So if I disappear from social media, nobody can publicly say stuff about me on there. And then I can keep doing what I was doing. And so I decided, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get social media back. I'm going to find a reason for it. I'll watch TikTok and laugh, and there's a bunch of videos on TikTok that are funny, and I'll get with Facebook so I can be the start of connecting with my daughter on a day-to-day basis and look at pictures and stuff like that.
Got it.
Well, then there was a influencer that popped up on my Facebook. Her name's Alexis. She's a Christian-based thing. She popped up, and then on my TikTok, I started seeing like all faith-based stuff, and I'm like scrolling, and like that's all what it is, and it's not clicking just yet. But of course, Alexis, she's a beautiful blonde that caught my attention. And she started doing Bible studies on a weekly basis. I haven't opened a Bible in over 20 years. And here I am wanting to get a Bible so I can follow along with this woman, because something's piqued my interest in it, to understand what she's talking about. Because I don't really remember, because if you remember back in my Pentecostal days, I faked it.
Right.
I mean, I knew the word, I knew a little bit, but I knew Jesus and all that. But
you said you were there for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So got it.
So I never took it like really, I never really opened up my heart to Jesus and that. So I'm sitting there, and I have a full-time job. I start doing like Uber delivering, so I'm not sitting at home by myself all the time, making it a little bit easier.
You're not giving yourself any free time.
Right. So I'm
I-
staying busy.
I'm gonna make one interjection. And it's relevant to this because I thought about you. I started this workout app 5 years ago. In 2 weeks, it'll be 5 years. In 2 weeks, it'll be 5 years. And I interviewed this guy 2 weeks ago, Vadim. He's an Olympic weightlifter. Like we had this interview. I worked out with him a little bit, and he does this training, personal training.
Mm-hmm.
And he noticed my flexibility. He knows a lot of things about me just by watching me, my flexibility, my mobility. And so I decided to start training with him. So I deleted my app last week. In trying to delete my app, I'm going through everything, trying to find how to delete it. I've been with that program for almost 60 months. In 2 weeks, it'll be 60 months. I've done 1,502 workouts in 60 months. That's 25 workouts a month. That's a pretty freaking good average.
Mm-hmm.
25 freaking workouts a month that I logged in, let alone the ones that didn't log in when we went away for vacation. But I'm only working out for an hour a day. So I did that math. Over a period of 5 months, an hour a day for those 25 days a month, that's 60 months. An hour a day, 60 months over a course of 5 years. So relatively, it's a relatively short amount of time. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
60 months of working out is a lot consecutively, but over a 5 year period of time, it's really not.
Right.
So I was like, man, 1,502 workouts. That's a lot of workouts. But then I thought about you. I'm exerting myself an hour a day, and it accumulated to 1,502 workouts over 60 months. What you're talking about, battling with trying to stay sober. You're not just trying to stay sober for an hour a day.
24 hours a day.
24 freaking 7. That's intensity.
Mm-hmm.
That's intensity. And I just had another layer. I'm glad that I came across that. I'm glad I did leave that and came across this information in time for this conversation, because that is a whole nother level of discipline, a whole nother level of what's your whys. When I don't feel like working out, can I just say, I just don't want to work out? I can, but I do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes are high with you. And you have to stay mentally, spiritually, all those other strengths that you can think of 24/7. And I had never considered that. I had never considered that battle to stay sober, that it's nonstop. And then I thought about other things that as men we fight, other addictions, other things that we're called to be, that it's not just for an hour a day and I just did it. It's nonstop 24/7.
Right.
It gave me a whole nother level of awareness. So when you talk about, man, 2 weeks in, how many hours was that? You know what I'm trying to get at?
Right.
Like the mental, all those emotions and
Yeah,
mental
'cause-
fortitude and all that stuff. That's a struggle. And
you don't get to just sleep it off. It's not like, oh, I got 8 hours of sleep and it was good. No, you might sleep for 2 to 3 hours.
really,
You're going to wake up and your mind's racing. Like my mind was constant, like all the time. Like the first probably for the first month, it was nonstop, and it was not really what I didn't understand why it was doing it the way it was doing it until a few weeks later, when I don't want to say that God was testing me, but God was showing me where I've been and wanted me to feel all those feelings, because before I really knew him, I asked him to help me.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it.
Okay.
And so I'm asking for help.
So your journey is not just about sobriety. there's something bigger that God's trying to do in you, and the
Right.
sobriety is just a piece of it.
Right.
So
The sobriety is my story, but to where it can relate to people that fall. But then it also is my other story is I wouldn't have done it without God.
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Right.
I just had that thought, and I think it was timely.
Yeah. No.
Because it helped me appreciate people who are struggling.
Yeah.
That it's intense. It's intense.
Yeah, because people will reach out to me and be like, "Oh, how do I do it?" Well, it's not just something that you just do it.
Just don't do it.
You gotta want to do it, and it's not something that today you're gonna stop and tomorrow you're gonna feel like how I feel. No, you gotta go through your feelings. You gotta go through your emotions. You gotta feel that hurt because you're a heavy drinker. You're addicted for a reason. You're addicted to alcohol. You're addicted to drugs. You're addicted for a reason. You hurt yourself. You hurt somebody else. You're masking pain. You're masking hurt. You're masking a lot for a reason. And you got to find out why.
And it didn't happen overnight. So the pathway out's not going to be overnight.
No. Like I'm still to this day, like there's still things that I struggle with, but you know what? It's not the same struggle that I've dealt with 3 years ago.
Good for you.
Because when I made the decision to start, it was to start the sobriety and to put it all on, like give it back to God. Like you can't do this alone. Like some people might be able to say they did it alone, but time will tell. And I can try and take credit for it all day long. And it wasn't just me waking up that morning and saying I'm not doing it. Like there was a path written already in play. I had a few seeds throughout my life that were planted. I went through all these struggles for a reason. There's going to be other people that come into my life that struggle the same or that are going to watch this that are struggling that can relate to it and say, if he can do it, I can do it. Well, I can do it because God did it. So, where that started was with TikTok and Facebook, comically, like two social media platforms. A lot of people say, "Oh, social media is horrible. That's like the root of all evil is social media." No, like that's where social media saved me in a way.
It's what you use it for.
Yeah. And so I spent the next few months digging into the Bible, reaching out to my ex-mother-in-law's, accepting her invitation to the church after me and her had a big fight argument. So I started going to church, found Jesus, gave my life to Jesus, started growing bigger on TikTok.
Hold on a second. When you gave your life to Christ, slow down a little bit. I want you to remember that very instance, the emotions, like all that stuff.
It happened when I was at church, and it was the week before Easter in 24. I walked into the church, and it felt different when I walked in. It felt like I was at home. It felt like all my worries weren't like the stress that I always dealt with, like the burdens that I held on my shoulders, and like everything like just kind of like lifted a little, and it made me feel like everything was going to be okay. And so when I walked in, the pastor was preaching after worship, and then he did an altar call, and I didn't freely walk up there. I just walked up there. Like I felt that I needed to go up there, and I had several of the elders come up and pray over me, and I felt completely released. I felt like that my life at that moment was never going to go back to the years and years that I went through, the pain that I caused all these different people, the pain that I caused to my children, the pain that I caused to my mom, the pain that I caused to my sister, to myself, to anybody. I knew I wasn't going to go back to that lifestyle. And I knew that Jesus was the way. Jesus was the reason why I feel that my life could be different, because he died for our sins. He knew we were going to be sinful children of God, and he knew that he was going to push for us and he was going to fight for us if on a day-to-day base the devil's going to try and come in and take you out, and the devil's going to do everything he can to pull you back into his lifestyle. But Jesus is going to be right there with you and say, that's the child of God. You don't mess with him. And so as I got deeper into it and the more I got pushed into it, the more I wanted to spread his word, the more I wanted people to know that, hey, without Jesus, your life might be good to you, but it's not good to God. You might have a lavish lifestyle here on earth, but it's not going to be lavish when you're not here anymore. Just as quick as you get it, just as quick as it can go away. You have to put your trust in God. You have to know the Bible. You have to live by the Bible. Don't live by just whatever preacher is telling you to preach. Like, know the word, know the Bible, live by the scripture. Don't just watch whoever and assume like a preacher is going to tell you right from wrong. Like, there's preachers that don't even open a Bible. And you got to be cautious on that. Like, and that's what's made me so open with it, because I want to make sure that since I'm putting so much work into my life, that I don't fall back and listen to a wrong preacher or somebody that claims to be a Christian, or that's just the devil in disguise trying to manipulate me to go back to that lifestyle that I used to live. And I'm not doing it.
Something interesting is, and not everybody, I don't know if everybody gets this opportunity or not. I don't know. I'll hold off on that one. I don't know if everybody gets this opportunity or not. But the things that keep us distracted, the things that the evil one uses to keep us looking down and not looking up. Like, the most important decision is not where you work, where your kids went to school. The most important decision is, hey, when all this is over with, then what? Most people don't think about that. Most people put a lot of thought into, hey, what are we doing Friday? You put a lot of thought into, hey, what are we doing this weekend? So you have this mechanism, this arrow. It goes like this, and it right back where it started. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, I got my weekend. And most people are doing this. Going nowhere, just doing the same thing over and over again. Meanwhile, 20 years go by, and the only thing is they're a little bit older, but still doing this, not going anywhere.
Yep.
That's not by accident. Because if the devil can keep people preoccupied with just chasing that circle round and round we go, that doesn't go anywhere, and they live a lifetime that way, and then they die, then what? The funny thing is, well, the ironic thing is that God can use that same loop to keep that the devil used to keep people distracted, to go around for 20 years and then come to an epiphany, man, I've just been chasing my tail for 20 years, and then bring us to a point to where we have thoughts that we had never had, which is what happened to you. And then what he does is, once we come to Christ and we accept him, then he gives our life purpose and meaning. And then instead of that arrow going round and round, he straightens that thing out, and now we're going somewhere. Now we have a destination. We're not just living for Friday.
Right.
Now we have a destination that has purpose, that has meaning, that has value. Isn't that funny how God does that?
Mm-hmm.
The very thing that Satan used to keep people blinded, to keep them down. Hey, just keep chasing that circle. Just live for this. Live for this. This is all there is. Don't think about what happened when you die. Not everybody gets that opportunity, but the ones that do, whew, I'm glad you had that opportunity. I'm glad that when you had that thought, that you gave it some thought, because it changed the trajectory of not just this life for you.
Eternal.
Eternal.
And then, so, like, obviously people that are seeing me pop back up on social media and people that are from my past see me and they're like, oh, he's a couple months sober or whatever.
It'll fade out.
Yeah. And, oh, he's in the church. He's going to church now. That's why because he's messed up so much. He's just putting on a show for let something really bad happen and see if he still goes to church. Okay. So let's take it up a notch. My mom, she's going to come back down from Tennessee and visit. And she comes down to visit. We're in June, July of 2024. And I think it's June. And she decides that her and her husband are going to move back down here. They're going to do that. So my first instinct is like, oh boy. Like, I love my mom. I want to see my mom again. I want her to be around her grandkids. But I hope I don't fall back into that trust egg type deal to where I know I don't have to worry about doing everything on my own because I'm 6 months into doing this on my own. I'm 6 months sober.
She was always your crutch.
She was my crutch. She was the one that if I failed, she'd be right there to pick me back up.
So you're scared.
And I was kind of worried about it. And she knows that I'm going to church. She knows I'm living for God. She knows that I'm sober. She knows I'm working hard. I got my regular job. I'm still doing Uber to keep myself busy. My son's doing great, playing football. I'm doing really good in my life. I've got a great relationship with my daughter. She's pregnant. She made me a grandpa.
Congratulations.
And so everything's going good. And she decides they're going to sell their property up in Tennessee. They're going to move back down here and they're going to buy a house down here. So it's like, all right, well, don't rush it. Like, make sure that's what you want to do. And for the first time, I offered my house to them.
Oh, wow.
And so it was kind of like a payback. Like, hey, like, you've helped me out over all these years. Let me help you guys while you look for something here. And I'm gonna let you guys. I'll help you guys out, and you can just stay here. So that went on for a couple weeks, and they're looking. I'm like, don't rush it. And my mom, she's like, her health is up and down. And then where people can never question my faith lands right here. So August 2nd, 2024, my mom and stepdad are living with me. It's a Friday. I usually got home between 5:30, 6:30-ish normally. But for some reason, I got off work a little bit early. I went and picked up my son, and I had him. I got home around 4:30. My stepdad calls me at 5:15 and asked me how my day was going, which was weird. And I said, that's going good so far. I said, I just got to the house, just hanging out. And he goes, and they're both retired. They did Instacart just to keep themselves busy and active.
What is that, like Uber or something?
Yeah. They do Publix deliveries and stuff, like go grocery shopping.
All right.
So he calls me and says, hey, I don't know if it wasn't rainy that day, but it was sprinkling. The roads were a little wet, nothing too crazy. And he goes, your mom's been stuck at the same location and she hasn't moved. She's not answering her phone. It keeps going straight to voicemail.
So he's checking her location on her
So,
phone.
which we all have each other's location
Got it.
for safety.
Got it.
Which was good. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to run up there. I'll come get you, because they were in the same vehicle. And he was at Publix in Babcock while she went up the road to go do a delivery. He was doing the shopping in the store.
Oh, got it.
And so I grabbed my son, got him in the vehicle, and called my sister and said, hey, just letting you know, not to stress you out. Of course, me and my sister have a great relationship. I said, hey, going to check on mom. Bruce just called me and said that he couldn't get a hold of her. I tried calling her a few times, just going straight to voicemail. And so I jump on 31, head north. And so me and her talking back and forth. And she's like, well, there is an accident at Beaumont and 31, and that's where she's pinging at. And I'm like, all right, that's maybe she's stuck into it. Maybe her phone died and it's not charging. And then we're going back and forth. And I said, well, let me call some people that I know and see if they can give me a description of the vehicles that are in the accident.
You do have an ex-wife that's a cop.
Right, but I wouldn't have called her.
Okay.
I called mutual friends that
All right.
I know, or friends that I know. And so I reached out to one of them, and she said she was going to make a few phone calls, called the other one. I reached out to two different ones. She said that she knew Highway Patrol. She knew some Charlotte County deputies, and she would reach out to them. And I gave a description of the vehicle, what it was. And so I continue driving. I get to Publix, pick up my stepdad, and we continue going north on 31. We're about 2 miles out of, a little bit farther at this point. I get back on the phone with my sister, and I'm talking to her, kind of just like going back and forth. And my stepdad's kind of like making jokes, not realizing what I've already questioned and looking into. So he's talking about random stuff, and then I reach out and I kind of like look up in the sky, and I just like, God, give me an answer. Like, what am I getting myself into? I got my son, I got him. I just got my mom back. Like, give me something.
You got a premonition that you're about to.
And I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be good. And so I heard my mom's voice saying that she's fine. She's with Uncle Jack and she's not hurting. And right then I knew. And next thing you know, I'm getting a call from one of the other girls that I reached out to and said, Justin, where are you at? I said, I'm heading north on 31. She goes, I'm telling you this as a friend. Do not go. Do not go. And I said, you telling me that tells me to go. I said, I have to see my mom. She's like, I can't tell you details. She goes, but what you've told me matches a description, and there was a fatality accident. I said, all right, I have to go. I'm going. I get back on the phone with my sister, confirm with her that it is a fatal accident. I ended up hitting traffic because it's so backed up, 2-lane road. I get on the shoulder and I just take the shoulder the rest of the way up. There's a little parking spot right before they started doing all the road construction out there. It was just that light. And I get out. I see my mom's vehicle just mangled. And as soon as I run up to it, I'm on the phone with my sister. They're pulling her body out of the car. And of course, my sister, she loses it. She knows that we just lost our mom. People ask me all the time, like, how do you deal with it? And I said, because she got to see me get sober. She got to see me find my life with God. And she saw me get straight for the first time in my life. I messed up my entire life. I lost relationships with my kids. I disappointed my kids. I disappointed my mom. but she saw me fix my life. She saw me. I'll never go back for that reason
Wow.
right there to that lifestyle I lived before. But she got to see it before she passed away.
Wow.
So she saw me sober. She saw me find Jesus. She saw me live for Jesus. And now, as it stands, it's been August 2nd this year will be the second year she's gone. And just turned over my 2 years of being sober. Just over 2 years of being a full-blown Christian. Over 2 years of being single. Have no desire to manipulate another woman another day in my life. I know God will bring the right one when it's time.
Amen to that.
And I will move forward with my life, keep doing my life the way that God intends me to do, and continue living sober and not fall back in the trenches.
I think if anything would have relapsed me, it would have been that.
And that's what people tell me all the time. For me not to start drinking after that is amazing. I've gotten several people over the years on social media because I was a live host on TikTok for a while where Tuesdays and Thursday nights I would share testimonies with people. They'd get on lives and share their testimonies. I did that for almost a year. And then TikTok shifted a little bit and I wanted to change it up. So now I do a more, me and a friend of mine, Katrina, we do Bible studies locally here in Buckingham every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, to where we host Bible studies. I wanted it to be more in person.
Good.
And then, but that would have been probably the end of my life if I was still drinking and that happened.
Yeah, there's God's timing's perfect. Because what Satan means for evil, God means for good.
Yep.
And if God had not intervened for you beforehand, who knows how far you would have spiraled or if you'd still be here.
I probably wouldn't have been here no more, and it affected my kids just like it would have.
God's timing is perfect, even when we're resisting him and destroying our own lives. He's still doing his work for those that are called according to his purpose. Before we accepted him, he was pursuing us.
Yep.
And your life story is a testament to him pursuing people that weren't pursuing him, not thinking about him,
right?
But intervening and rescuing, and then turning what was meant for evil into, man, a beautiful story, a hard story. You know, like, who wants to lose a mom?
Right. Yeah, because that's the one person that should love you unconditionally, no matter what. And mine did, whether I was right or wrong. She'd go to fight for me. She'd fight for me with me. And she didn't give me the perfect handbook to raise children. Or
who has one?
But nobody has it. Like, she had her flaws. I have my flaws. My children will have their flaws. It's generational things that you learn, and it's all about you on making the difference.
And fallen man, our sin affects, like my sin affects my children. Their sin's going to affect their children. But Christ's atoning blood that covers all of it. If we, in humility, kneel at the foot of the cross, say, God, I'm tired of chasing this arrow, this circle around. Do for me what I can't do for myself.
Yep.
He will rescue us.
He will.
He will rescue us. Justin, a couple things. We're going to wrap this up, but any of your social media stuff, we're going to put in the description so people can find you. Mike will give you my social media stuff so we can collaborate when this goes out, try to help each other. Your in-person Bible study, like, I would like to be a part of that. I don't know if I can beat everyone, but I would like to at least come to it. So however, if someone can come to that Bible study, I'd like to make that available. In the description, however, whatever mechanism people can reach you via email or whatever, to if somebody sees this, to be able to reach out to you. If someone who's struggling, so you can speak into someone's life. I want to make all of that available. We'll put it in the description. You talked about your Bible study. We're going to wrap this up here in a little bit. What are you reading now?
We're doing the yearly Bible,
Okay.
learning the Bible in a year. It's pretty much, it's a book that I actually received off TikTok, and it's 365.
Mm-hmm. Where are you at now, right?
I'm doing 2 weeks at a time every week.
Okay.
So it aligns, since I'm doing 2 studies a month. It's pretty much, I'm on just did week 7 and week 8, and it was talking about the forgiveness of certain people that come into your life, and don't hold grudges. Like, don't judge you. God doesn't judge you, or God's going to judge you, but God forgives you. Jesus died for your sins. You do those same things to your fellow brothers and sisters.
Do you remember what particular verses and
I'd
chapters?
have to look it back up.
I should have asked this beforehand. I was just curious.
It's a good breakdown of I wish I had more time to do it. So I wasn't trying to cram 2 weeks in
Understood.
one night, but it works out.
I'm in 1 John in my Bible. I say reading by listen. I comprehend better by listening.
That's how I usually do it.
So when I'm driving, I'm just listening and digesting it. So I started in Genesis. I'm in 1 John now. And then every time something resonates with me, I screenshot it and I save it for later and come back to it. But I'm creeping up on the end. I'm gonna start all over again. Go back from Genesis, work my way through it again.
I tend to, like, because I do that same thing, especially that first year, 2024, when I was learning the Bible, getting deep into the Bible. I traveled a lot for work. I drove a lot. I rode on airplanes a lot. I was going to Fort Lauderdale. I was going to Juno Beach. I was going to Gainesville, driving. Well, yeah, I can sit there listening to music and jam out the whole time, but I was hungry. So
that's another appetites. That's another thing. That's confirmation. Hey, did it really take appetites? Your appetites change.
Oh yeah.
The things that we were dead to, now we're alive to. Things that got us excited, now I'm dead to. Like that whole thing. That's like confirmation that Christianity is a thing. Surrendering your life to Christ is a thing, and that transformation that He does on our behalf is a thing. It's not us bettering ourselves. It's Him doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves.
Right.
Changing our appetites. Where once I thirsted for, what'd you say it was? Fireball
and vodka. Tito's.
Vodka, and now you're thirsting after the Word of God. You can't do that on your own.
No.
It's good.
And I didn't do no 7-step, 2-step, any alcohol. Alcoholic Anonymous. I didn't do none of it. I did God.
Wow. And it's enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap this up. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So, young men. Speak to young men who, as you talked, maybe they can identify with at least a few of the dots connected. And then I want you to speak to young women. You got a daughter. I got a bunch of daughters, right? I want you to speak to them. And then we'll go from there.
So, young men, if you rely on your parents, looking back, if I were to do something, I would have moved away from this town. I would have got away from my mom. Not that she ruined my life, but so I would have been able to get that independence the right way and not wait 20 years to find it. If you're dating somebody and you're manipulating them, you know if you're manipulating them or not. Or if you just are going from relationship to relationship and you're struggling to find that perfect person, you need to find yourself first. You need to love yourself first. If you're struggling with alcohol or drugs and you don't feel like that you're addicted to drinking, but you're catching yourself drinking 2, 3, 4 times a week, you're addicted to drinking. If you're drinking to where you can't remember, to where you black out, you're addicted. If you're drinking to where you're just trying to take the edge off to relax, you're depressed about something. Find out why you're depressed. There's a reason why you're drinking. You're not drinking just because you enjoy it. You're escaping from reality. There's nothing that you can't do sober. You can do all things sober. You don't have to go boating drunk. You don't have to go boating, or you don't have to go fishing drunk. Do it sober. There's no reason. It's safer. You don't have to worry about drinking and driving. You don't have to worry about boating and driving. You could take somebody's life in an instant. I thankfully never did that. There's many times I got behind the wheel and I shouldn't have. And I thankfully did not cause anybody else great harm. But a lot of people do. There's a lot of people sitting in prisons for it because of one bad choice. So definitely, if you're drinking, if you're dating, my biggest thing would be to find Jesus. And if you need any help, it's not a quick, easy fix. Reach out to me. Keith will put all my connections in here, and we'll work it out. But it's not easy. Depending on how many years of sadness, hurt, depression you have, is going to be how long it takes to get you back to where you're not sad and depressed. I still have days where I'm sad, but that's normal. It's human to be sad, to be depressed. But how far you take it is how you do it. So if you need any help, I can help. For the ladies, your parents try so hard to not let you find guys like I was. They're out there. They're everywhere. They will manipulate you. They will lie to you. They'll steal from you. They will make you feel like you're down. They'll make you might be independent when you first meet, but they'll tear you up. They'll tear you down. They'll ruin you. You don't want that. They bring nothing to the table. Be at your own table. Match somebody that matches your energy. Match somebody that you want to bring home to your parents if you have them. That'll make them proud. Don't bring somebody to the table that you have to lie about. If you have to lie about the smallest thing, that means you're hiding something greater. And your parents are not going to like that. If you don't have your parents, do it for yourself. Push hard. Work hard. Love yourself. The right person will come along. Don't let the wrong person ruin your life. Because I've ruined plenty of people's lives.
Justin, thank you, man. This was timely. I appreciate your openness, your honesty. I appreciate that you're in a good spot in life where you can just be an open book. Man, that's a good place to be. Where you don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to manipulate anymore. You don't have to lie anymore. You can just, here's what I was, here's where I am, and I'm going to keep on moving. That's liberating. It's liberating. So, I
hate me for who I was, because you ain't going to hate me for who I am.
Nah, man. I'm looking forward to...
Not you, but like anybody out there.
I'm looking forward to developing a strong friendship with you.
Yeah.
Like, you and I are vibing on a lot of stuff, and I'm looking forward to how this may influence someone else. And who knows, maybe this will be like an annual thing, Keith and Justin time.
Yeah.
Like, see how things are going, keep on track. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Any last words? We good?
I'm good.
Let's get out of here.
Still strong, watch me rise my way. Slow growth turns into real change. I found joy in the simple days, in honest work and faith.